All right, good afternoon, viewers. We'd like to welcome you to Channel Sports on Sunday. To this segment in particular, the segment that will tell you what is going on in the world of football across the world. Now, typically we start locally, then eventually we graduate and tell you what is going on. Now, so many tournaments are actually going on across the world. We have the Copa Americas, we have the Euro 2016 qualifier that's also taken place. We have the Female World Cup currently going on. We have the Under 20. So many things are going on, so many tournaments are going on. But the next 20 minutes, I'm not going to do this alone. I have the heavyweights, the guys that I actually call heavyweights when it comes to football, talking or analyzing the game called soccer. I'd like to welcome you to the studio one more time, and I'd like to welcome guys Badakin today, Nodio Konta, and Larry Pinner. It's been a while, Larry Pinner.
Always a pleasure to be here.
In Abuja doing his thing at some point. But
get on the cabinet.
I know, unfortunately, he didn't make it. But it's good to see you guys in the studio today.
It was fantastic to be here. Like you said, it's a loaded period of football. Ordinarily, it should be the football close season, you know, talking club football, but we're almost being overfed with football on different fronts.
That's right.
You're almost, playing catch-up, really, because there's a preponderance of top grade matches going on at the same time, and we'll be touching on virtually all of them.
That's right. Today. And I'm going to come to you, Larry Pinner, before we even talk to Nodi. We'll talk about the Flying Eagles at some point in time. We're going to get back to talk about the Flying Eagles when we analyze them. You are an advocate of us just actually developing people and developing talents. Yes, we've developed these guys. But are you particularly happy? Are you satisfied that we're not partaking at the semi-final stage? Now, Nodi said something while you were away, and he did say that should we not qualify, or should we not go ahead and win this tournament, or should we not even play in the finals, it's going to be easier for us to forget this generation of beautiful boys that have actually played this game. It's easier to forget them than they play good football and not qualify from the round, qualify for the round of 16 or from the round of 16. I'd like to have your reaction as regards this now.
I'll react to what Nodi said first while I was away. I think it's...
No, he was gossiping. It wasn't backbiting.
I know, and we discussed it earlier on. He has a point by saying a lot of those boys may be forgotten, but if they can prove their individual brilliance for their respective clubs, they could still find their way to the national team, particularly if you take a cue from the likes of Ogeyonazi and Umeru, who actually represented Nigeria at the 8th grade level before they now moved to the Super Eagles, and both played an interesting part in yesterday's game. Going back to the tournament itself, you mentioned the fact that it would have been nice for us to make the semi-final or the final. I think that would have been very, very appropriate. But for a team like Germany knocking us out, I think there's no shame in that, particularly judging by the fact that the Germans also use this tournament to prepare for the national team. And we've seen that over the years. The man who brought them to the tournament, Frank Wormuth, has been their coach for 5 years under 20, and he's their director of training in Director of Training Academy. So he ensures that all coaches in Germany are trained and he gets footballers for the next level. For me, if a couple of these lads graduate to the under-23 and the Super Eagles, Manu Garba's job is done. And I see a bright future for Musa Mohamed, right flank. I see a bright future for Awoni up front. I see a bright future for a few of those lads here and there. So the job of the coach is done.
Okay. All right, Nod, it's good to see you. I'm sure you don't entirely agree with what you said. Maybe you do. But by and large, you have so many things to talk about tonight. For you, what you'll be looking out for, paying attention, will be the Under-20 or probably the Super Eagles.
Well, I think we do have a structure that we can, what we just mentioned. Because if you remember the 2007 generation of Under-17, they went to the 2009 World Cup, even though we still have two of them, or three of them played in yesterday's game. Ojai Gallo, Bolan Salami, Rabi Ibrahim were part of that generation. But after that World Cup, when was the last time we heard of Rabi Ibrahim? Yeah. So just one of them sneaked or find his way into the senior national that went to the World Cup in 2010. That's Aruna Lukman. So we don't have a structure yet. We don't have football structure yet. Where some of those guys you talked about in Germany and the rest of them, at the end of the day, you have players who the Bayern Munich, the Borussia Dortmund, the Mönchengladbach, the Leverkusen were absorbed. And from them, they graduate and you move them up into the senior team and they play top flight football. In Nigeria, we don't have the structure. So what we have to do, we have to look at pockets of clubs in Europe that can help us express this player and maybe probably deploy their potentials at some of these clubs. So that's what we do. So we cannot compare the two structures. We can't compare the structures. So I'm saying, if we don't win the tournament, we've seen in the past that if a generation of players don't win a tournament, in 1999, we knew what happened. We went to the African Championship, we came second. We removed the squad that went to that championship. Half of the squad didn't play at the World Cup in 1999. We brought in a new set of players who we call our big boys in Europe. And we didn't do anything. We got to the quarterfinal, because beaten by Mali. The same Mali we felt, some of them played the national team 10 years after all. Our home, we had only Joseph Yobo that almost played in 3 World Cups, 2 World Cups. So it's not, I'm not saying it's a system here. It's not a product of, I'm just saying, I'm trying to be a professor of doom. But I'm saying it doesn't encourage,
because I'm sure Bada
look at some of this potential in this guy. But at every tournament, yes, but let's see is that tournament, that's what we call cake, that's what we call Heising. People don't eat the Heising, but the Heising look attractive. They rather go for the cake.
Okay, that's horrible right now. But we'll come back. I'm sure Bada has his own opinion as regards this particular boys and how we fared in this tournament as well. We'll come back to that on 20 level. But quickly, I'll tell you what is going on in the Nationwide League. Now, games took place in the Nigerian Nationwide League. I'm going to give you the scorelines right now of some select games that took place in Division 1. We saw Fijo United play 1-0 over Ajiroba Oni FC. It was Rising Stars defeating Lokoja FC 2-0. Peacemakers played 2-0 over Bida Lions. We saw Unisem Rovers play 1-0 over Abiom Youths. We saw FC Abuja play 2-0 over Islanders FC. Shekarau was 3-2 Woodhill FC. Duma United played 2-0 over Flash Flamingos. And we saw Gombe Warriors play 2-0 over Zagbai FC. Now, quickly, let's talk about the NNL. We had games take place on Friday, Saturday. Games will take place today, but we have select scorelines for you. The scorelines will come on your screen in a minute from now. We saw Boosdor play 0-0 with Abia Comets. Ekiti United defeated Ikorodu United 2-0. Supreme FC played 2-0 over Yobe Stars, and Goran FC played 1-0 over Remo Stars, although Remo Stars came out to say they were unlucky in that particular encounter. Now, the focus today will be the games that will take place locally in the MPFL. So many games will take place in the MPFL. The MPFL was on break for about 2-3 weeks, and week 11 will resume today. Now, fixtures that will take place, I will see Giwa FC playing Gabros FC, Dolphin will take on Sharks, El Kenem will take on FC Taraba, Wiki Tourist will play Eyimba, Atlan will take Bayelsa United, Shooting Stars will play also Lobby Stars, Nassau United will take on Aqua United, we will see Abia Warriors take on Sunshine Stars, and Warri Wolves Canopilas will take place on Monday. I'm sure you're looking forward to some certain games in the MPFL, Bada.
Fantastic, a couple of games lined up. I feel that Canopilas Warri Wolves is one that, you know, it promises some kind of explosion. Warri Wolves, particularly like Nordin quite rightly said last week, will be missing the services of certain key players who are on national team duty. And like he rightly also said the other day, there's a law that says, or there's a rule that says that if you have a certain number of your players at under 20 or across the national teams, your games should be postponed. So we don't know how that weekend.
The game will be moved to tomorrow.
To tomorrow. Okay. But I mean, how sufficiently does that allow them time to absorb some of their players back? Well, Salami played yesterday. It will take a miracle of monumental proportions to get him back to a level where he can compete and do well for Warri Wolves.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Let me just say something. I think my focus is going to be the Port Harcourt derby. But you know what I'll call it? I'll call it derby of debtors. I don't know how motivated.
Careful.
I don't know how motivated those players will be. A certain Joseph Nathaniel went to the Super Eagles camp. He was dropped from the camp among the home-based players. Was not selected among the home-based players, but never returned to Sharks. He's been declared AWO. You can't fault him. He has not been paid for 9 months. The other players have been crying, so I don't know how that game will go. I don't know how motivated the players will look. I don't know how motivated the coach will be.
I think they have problems at Sharks.
The coach will be backing from the bench.
We also know that Gbenga Gubote is going to be having his first game with 3SC later on today against Lobby Stars. And Dokubo.
Dokubo is going to be taking charge of Sharks in the interim until they get a substantive coach.
Now, but going to this game against Dolphin.
That's why I call it the derby of the debtors.
Unlike the game you'll be looking at.
Of course, 3SC Lobby Stars. Gbenga Gubote comes back to do his magic. He was in Sunshine Stars, left for Sharks, had a few issues, had to come back to 3SC. I think he will do the magic. But unfortunately, I think Franklin Howard took the stick a little bit early in the season. He had one game outstanding with Warri Wolves. If he has won that game, he will go about 15th or 14th on the log, 3 points. But for me, I thought they were too quick to sack Franklin Howard. But let's see how well Gbenga Gubote does.
They have to be very patient with Gbenga Gubote, but I'm sure he's going to deliver for them. Now, Sunshine Stars occupy top spot with Canopilas. Now, they've been on top of that table since week 7, Sunshine Stars, which I think is fantastic for them. Now, Canopilas, Eyimba, and Ifeanyi Uba, we understand that Gabros officially have handed over to Ifeanyi Uba. Now, so henceforth, I will not see Gabros anywhere. It will be communicated as Ifeanyi Uba. But on 4, we have Belter United, Lobby Stars, Sharks FC, and Shooting Stars. Should the league end this day, even after today? But after today, Shooting Stars should go ahead and defeat Lobby Stars. They definitely will leave at the bottom of the table, probably be 18th or so on the table. But again, it looks good for them. They have to just go ahead and win the league. Having said all that, quickly, guys, let's talk about the Nations Cup qualifier that took place yesterday. all eyes were on the team list of Stephen Keshi. We saw the likes of the fair guy, Leon Balogun, and what was the other guy's name right now? Ekong. Yeah. And a couple of debutants again for the Super Eagles. Now, in case you missed it, the Super Eagles played against Chad yesterday. Before that game, a lot of debate had actually taken place. Should the Imba play 3 as the Chad side? Should 3SC play the Chad side? But Keshi said, look, you can't ignore these guys because many of them actually ply their trade across the world as well too. So fast forward to that game yesterday, it took place in Kaduna. We played that game and we won the game. Chad 2-0. They currently are in Group G. That's talking about the Super Eagles. They currently are in Group G. They also has Egypt and Tanzania. Other scholars of the games that took place yesterday will come to you, but our focus will be the Super Eagles taking on Chad. I'm going to start with you, Bada.
Well, I think expectedly the team started slowly. First half there was not much to cheer. I mean, it was a very, very ragtag performance. There was no cohesion in the play. As a matter of fact, the Chadians, sensing how distorted our play was, got into the game and created chance for themselves. On 2 occasions, actually, they could have scored in the first 45. On one occasion, Iyama pulled off a smart save to his right to keep Nigeria, in the game. But in the second half, it was a much improved display. Particularly, I mean, we give Keshi a lot of stick for not being tactical, for not reading the game enough. When he does get it right, I think that it's only fair that we also give him credit. Because yesterday he made the switches, and almost instantly they worked. Yeah. He brought on Rabi Ibrahim, brought on Igalo, and boom, we scored 2 goals. First off, Odio Igalo ran on to what looked to be a lost cause. Recycled the ball back to Bola Salami, and on nearing finish from just inside the box into the top corner. Keeper had no chance whatsoever, 1-0. And then Nigeria got the confidence to play their game, to put the ball on the ground. A lot of movement, the quality of the passing improved. Generally, the team looked, a lot more watchable. Okay. And I thought that we could have even scored more after Odion Igalo scored from the penalty spot, but for the expulsion of Onazi for, what was a silly thing to do. By and large, I think that we can give Keshi the benefit of the doubt, because the team got the much needed 3 points to get their campaign started. But there were loads of question marks. It is not yet Uhuru. Yeah. There are loads of question marks, but those questions we can give him the benefit of answering in the games to follow.